Jay looked up at the yellow-green sky and sighed. He remembered the stories his grandfather told him about blue skies and white clouds. Those days were long gone. Earth was dying, and everyone knew it. "Jay, come inside now," Dr. Han called from the lab door. "The air quality is getting worse." Jay nodded and walked back into the research building. It was one of the last working science centers in what used to be Seoul. Now the city was mostly empty. Most people had moved to the safe zones near the poles where the air was still breathable without masks. "Any good news today?" Jay asked, though he already knew the answer. Dr. Han shook his head. "The core is still getting worse. Look at these readings." On the big screen, red lines showed the Earth's core becoming more unstable. 30 years ago, scientists found out that something was wrong deep inside the planet. The core was cooling in some places and heating up too much in others. This caused terrible earthquakes, volcanoes, and changes in the air that made it hard to breathe. "How much time do we have?" Jay asked. "Maybe 5 years before the safe zones are gone too," Dr. Han said. "Then nowhere on Earth will be safe to live." Once 10 billion people had lived on Earth. Now less than 1 billion remained. Some had died in the disasters, others from hunger when farms could no longer grow food. Many had died from breathing the bad air. Jay sat down at his computer and started working. He and Dr. Han were trying to find a way to fix the Earth's core, but every test and every model showed the same thing. They were too late. The damage was too big to repair with their technology. "Don't give up," Dr. Han said, seeing Jay's sad face. "We still have time to find an answer." Jay nodded, but he didn't really believe it. On the other side of the city, Yuna stood at the window of the defense base. As a military commander, she was in charge of protecting what was left of the country, but there wasn't much left to protect. "Commander," said her assistant, walking into the room, "we have strange readings from the sky monitors." Yuna took the tablet and looked at the data. "What am I seeing?" "We don't know. They appeared 3 hours ago. They're in the upper air about 50 miles up. They're big, whatever they are." "Meteors?" Yuna asked. "No. They're slowing down." "Meteors don't slow down." Yuna felt a chill. "Get me the Global Defense Network." 10 minutes later, Yuna was talking. To military leaders from around the world, there weren't many left. "We're seeing the same things here," said the commander from Europe. 5 large objects in the sky above our continent. 3 over North America," said another voice. 2 above Africa, 1 near Australia. Yuna looked at her own data. "And 1 above Asia. That's 11 objects total." "Are they going to hit us?" someone asked. "No," said the European commander. "They're stopping. They're going to stay in the sky." Yuna felt her heart beat faster. "Are we looking at ships? Visitors from space?" No one had an answer. "Alert your governments," Yuna said. "Get all working weapons ready. We need to be prepared." After the call ended, Yuna stared out the window again. The sky was darker now as evening came. Somewhere up there something was watching them. Waiting. Her phone rang. It was her brother. "Yuna," Jay said. "Are you seeing this? The whole research center is going crazy." "I know," she said. "We don't know what they are yet." "If they're ships," Jay said quietly, "do you think they've come to help?" Yuna had been a soldier for 15 years. She had seen the worst of humanity as the world fell apart. Hope was a luxury she couldn't afford. "No one comes just to help, Jay," she said. "Be careful. Stay inside. I'll call you when I know more." At the research center, Jay couldn't sit still. He walked from screen to screen, looking at the data coming in. "It's definitely not natural," Dr. Han said. "The objects are moving with purpose." One of the younger researchers spoke up. "Maybe they're here to help us. Maybe they know how to fix the core." Dr. Han didn't answer. Like Yuna, he had lost the ability to hope for easy answers. Suddenly, all the computers in the lab began to beep loudly. The screens flashed with new data. "The objects are moving," someone shouted. Jay watched as the red dots on the screen began to drop lower in the sky. They were coming down toward Earth. "Should we run?" a voice asked. "Where would we go?" Dr. Han said calmly, "If these are ships with bad intentions, nowhere on Earth is safe." Jay's phone rang again. It was Yuna. Jay, are you seeing this? They're coming down. Yes, we're watching it happen, he said. What are you going to do? We're going to send jets to look at the one coming toward us, she said. But Jay, our weapons won't do anything against something this big. Jay knew she was right. Earth's militaries had grown weaker as the planet died. Many weapons didn't even work anymore. They had no way to fight something from space. Be careful, he told his sister. Don't do anything dangerous. She laughed, but it wasn't a happy sound. Too late for that. The next few hours were chaos. The objects came down lower and lower. They stayed above the biggest cities that still had people in them. Then they stopped again, hanging in the air about 1 mile up. They were huge, each one at least a mile wide. They were smooth and dark with no windows or doors that anyone could see. Jay and Dr. Han went up to the roof of their building to look. The ship above Seoul blocked part of the sky. It made no sound. It just waited. What? Do you think they want? Jay asked. Before Dr. Han could answer, a bright light appeared at the bottom of the ship. It grew bigger and brighter. People all over the city were pointing and taking pictures with their phones. Is it a weapon? Jay whispered. The light shot down from the ship, but it didn't hit the city. Instead, it stopped about halfway to the ground. Then it began to take shape. Jay couldn't believe what he was seeing. The light was forming letters, giant words hanging in the air below the ship. It's a message, Dr. Han said in wonder. The words were in many languages, one after another. Jay waited until he saw Korean appear. We are human, the message read. We have returned home. Jay read it 3 times, not understanding. Human? How can they be human? Dr. Han's hands were shaking. They're saying they're like us, that they've come back to Earth. Jay looked up at the giant ship with new eyes. Not aliens. Humans. But how? And why now, when Earth was nearly dead? Before he could ask any more questions, the light message changed. We have come to save Earth, it now read. Prepare for contact. Jay's phone rang. It was Yuna again. Did you see the message? She asked. Yes, Jay said. Do you believe it? I don't know what to believe, Yuna said. But they're asking for representatives to meet with them. They want scientists and military leaders. Are you going? Jay asked, already knowing the answer. Yes. They're sending down a smaller ship in 1 hour. And Jay, they asked for you by name. Jay nearly dropped his phone. Me? How do they even know who I am? I don't know, Yuna said. But they asked for you and Dr. Han specifically. They know about your work on the core problem. Jay looked at Dr. Han, who was still staring up at the ship. We'll be there, Jay said. As he ended the call, Jay realized something had changed inside him. For the first time in years, he felt a small spark of hope. The humans in the sky said they had come to save Earth, just when all hope seemed lost. But one question kept repeating in his mind. Where had these humans come from? And why did they have such dangerous-looking ships? Jay and Dr. Han stood with Yuna at the meeting point. A large open area in what used to be a city park had been cleared. Military vehicles surrounded the space, but Jay knew they were just for show. If the ship people wanted to hurt them, these old tanks and guns would do nothing. Are you nervous? Yuna asked her brother. Jay nodded. Yes, but also excited. Think about it, Yuna. They said they're human. How is that possible? We'll find out soon, Dr. Han said, checking his watch. It's almost time. The sky above them was dark under the shadow of the big ship. Suddenly, a small light appeared at the bottom of the giant vessel. The light grew larger, and then a smaller ship came out. It was smooth and silver, about the size of a bus. It made no sound as it came down. The small ship stopped about 10 feet above the ground. A door opened in its side and a ramp extended down. Yuna put her hand on her gun. The other soldiers did the same. A figure appeared at the door of the ship. It looked completely human. A man with black hair wearing a simple gray uniform stepped onto the ramp and walked down. He was followed by a woman in the same kind of clothes. They reached the bottom of the ramp and stopped. The man smiled. Hello, he said in perfect Korean. My name is Tai. This is my colleague Sue. We are very happy to meet you. Yuna stepped forward. I am Commander Yuna. This is Dr. Han and Jay. How do you speak our language? Tay smiled again. We have been watching Earth for a long time. We have studied all your languages and cultures. You said you are human, Dr. Han said. What did you mean by that? Perhaps it would be better if we showed you, Tay said. Would you like to come aboard our ship? We can explain everything there. Yuna looked suspicious. How do we know this isn't a trap? We understand your concern, Sue said, speaking for the first time. Her voice was soft but clear. We have come a very long way to help you. If we wanted to harm you, we could have done so already. Jay knew she was right. These people, whoever they were, had technology far beyond Earth's. If they had bad intentions, why would they bother talking? I'll go, Jay said suddenly. Jay, no, Yuna said, grabbing his arm. Someone has to, he said. And they asked for me by name. They know about our work on the core problem. Maybe they really can help. Dr. Han nodded. I'll go too. Yuna looked frustrated but finally said, Fine, but I'm coming with you, and I'm bringing 2 of my officers. Tay nodded. Of course. Please follow us. The inside of the small ship was simple but strange. The walls seemed to glow with a soft light. There were no buttons or controls that Jay could see. Tay and Sue simply sat down in chairs at the front and the ship began to move. How are you controlling it? Jay asked. Tay touched a small device behind his ear. Neural interface. The ship responds to our thoughts. The trip was short. They docked inside, the giant ship above the city. When the door opened, Jay gasped. They were in a huge room with a glass ceiling. Above them, Jay could see more levels and what looked like gardens with trees and plants. People walked around, dressed in the same simple gray clothes as Tay, and so they all looked human. Welcome to the homecoming, Tay said. Our flagship. Who are you people? Yuna asked. Her hand was still on her gun, but her voice showed her amazement. Tay led them to a room with a large table. Please, sit. I will explain everything. When they were all seated, Tay pressed something on the table. A 3D image appeared above it showing Earth. 1,000 years ago, Tay began. Earth was in trouble. Not like now, but bad in different ways. Wars, pollution, climate change. A group of scientists and engineers built ships in secret. They believed Earth might not survive. They wanted humanity to continue somewhere else. The image changed to show old-style rockets leaving Earth. They left with just a few hundred people, Sue continued. They found a planet around another star. They called it New Hope. It was not perfect, but they could live there. Over hundreds of years, they built a new civilization. You're saying you're their descendants? Dr. Han asked. The children of humans who left Earth long ago? Yes, Tay said. We are human just like you, but our path has been different. Jay noticed something. You said they when talking about the first settlers, not we or our ancestors. Tay and Sue looked at each other. You are observant, Jay, Tay said. Yes, there is more to tell. The image changed again, showing people working with advanced technology. On New Hope, technology developed quickly, Tay explained. We found ways to make our bodies better. We live longer, we don't get sick, we can connect our minds to our machines. You changed yourselves, Yuna said. Genetically? Yes, Sue admitted. We are still human, but improved. Our first ancestors would be surprised to see what we have become. And your ships? Yuna asked. Why do they look so dangerous? Why are they armed? Tay's face grew serious. Space is not empty, Commander Yuna. In our explorations, we found other intelligent life. Not all of it was friendly. This news shocked everyone from Earth. Aliens were real. We had to defend ourselves, Sue said. We had to build weapons. It was not our first choice. How many of you are there? Dr. Han asked. About 5 million, Tay said. Spread across 3 star systems now. And why have you come back to Earth? Jay asked the question everyone was thinking. Tay stood up and walked to the window. From here, they could see the dying Earth below. We never forgot our first home, he said quietly. We always kept watching. When we saw what was happening to the core, we knew we had to help. Can you? Jay asked, feeling that small hope grow inside him. Can you really fix the core? Yes, Sue said simply. We have the technology to stabilize it. We've done similar things on other planets we've settled. Una still looked doubtful. Why would you help us? What do you want in return? Tay turned, back from the window. Earth is our ancestral home. We don't want it to die, and you are our cousins. We are all human. There must be more to it than that, Una insisted. Tay sighed. You are right, Commander. We are not only here to help, we are also here because we need Earth. What do you mean? Dr. Han asked. New Hope is no longer safe for us, Sue explained. The aliens I mentioned, they found us. We had to leave. You're running away, Una said. You need a new home. Yes, Tay admitted, but we don't want to take Earth from you. We want to share it, help each other. We can save the planet and live together. Jay thought about this. These space humans needed Earth, but Earth's humans needed their help to survive. Maybe this could work? How long would it take? Dr. Han asked. To fix the core? About 1 year, Sue said, but the air would start to improve much sooner. And what would we need to do? Jay asked. Work with us, Tay said. Learn from us. And he hesitated. Some people would need to leave the surface temporarily while we do the most dangerous work. Una stood up suddenly. I knew it. You want us to leave so you can take over. No, Sue said quickly. Only for a short time, and only some people. We would build safe places in orbit for them to stay. When the work is done, everyone can return. Before Una could reply, a loud alarm started ringing. Tay touched the device behind his ear, listening to something. His face turned worried. What is it? Jay asked. Another ship has arrived, Tay said. It's Director Jin, the leader of our council. He wants to meet with you. Is that bad? Dr. Han asked. No, Tay said. But there's someone with him, Military Commander Min. He does not always agree with our peaceful approach. Una's hand went back to her gun. What does that mean? It means, Sue said sadly, that not all of us agree on how to save Earth, or who should live here when it's saved. Jay felt his hope begin to fade. These space humans might save Earth from dying. But would they save the humans who still lived here? Jay, Dr. Han, and Una followed Tay and Sue through the big ship. They passed more people in gray clothes who stopped to look at the Earth humans with curious eyes. They've never seen Earth humans before? Jay asked. Only in videos, Sue explained. You are like stories to them, living history. They entered a large room with a round table. 2 people were already there. A tall, older man with white hair stood as they entered. Welcome, he said in Korean. I am Jin, director of the Colonial Council. This is Commander Min. He pointed to a younger man in a dark uniform who did not smile or stand. After everyone sat down, Jin spoke again. I hope Tai and Sue have explained our situation. We have come to help Earth, but we also need a new home. They told us, Una said. Her voice was cold. They also said some of your people might not agree on how to help us. Min spoke for the first time. I have concerns, yes. Earth is dying because of how your people treated it. Why should we believe you would do better if we save it? That's not fair, Jay said. The core problem wasn't caused by pollution or anything we did. It's a natural disaster. Is it? Min asked. How can you be sure? Your science is basic compared to ours. Dr. Han frowned. We've studied the core for 30 years. There's no evidence human activity caused this. Jin raised his hand. We did not come here to argue about blame. We came to help. He looked at Min with warning in his eyes. All of us. Min nodded, but his face stayed hard. Jin touched something on the table. and a 3D image of Earth's core appeared. This is our plan to save Earth. We will use our ships to send energy deep into the planet. This will stabilize the core and stop the damage. The image showed beams from the ships going into the Earth. It will take 1 year to complete, Jenny continued. But the air will start to get better in just a few months. And what about us? Yuna asked. Tay said some people would need to leave the surface. Yes, Jin admitted. The energy beams will cause some disturbances, earthquakes, storms. We will build safe stations in orbit for people to live until the work is done. How many people? Dr. Han asked. About half of Earth's remaining population, Jin said. The rest can stay in safe areas away from the beam sites, Yuna stood up. 500 million people? How can we possibly move that many to space? We have the technology, Min said. But it will require your complete cooperation. Your governments must agree to our plan and follow our instructions exactly. And if they don't? Yuna asked. Min's eyes were cold. Then we cannot guarantee their safety. Is that a threat? Yuna's hand moved toward her gun. No, Jin said quickly. It is simply the reality of the situation. The process to save Earth will be dangerous. We want to protect as many people as possible. Jay looked at the plan on the table. The science made sense, even though it was far beyond Earth's technology. These space humans really could save the planet. But at what cost? What happens after? Jay asked. When the core is fixed and everyone comes back, will you leave? Jin and Min looked at each other. Jin spoke carefully. We hope to stay. Earth was our first home. We want to live here again alongside you. Share the planet, Dr. Han said. But who would be in charge? We could create a new government, Jin suggested, with both Earth humans and colonial humans. Min shook his head. Director Jin is being too kind. The truth is you need us more than we need you. We have the technology and knowledge to make Earth healthy again. You have nothing we need except the planet itself. Min, Jin's voice was sharp. That is not our position. It should be, Min said. Earth humans had their chance. They almost destroyed the planet. Why should they have equal say in its future? The room grew tense. Yuna's officers moved closer to her, ready for trouble. Perhaps, Sue said quietly, we should show them what we can do first. Actions speak louder than words, as Earth humans say. Jin nodded. A good suggestion. Dr. Han, Jay, would you like to see our technology? We can show you exactly how we plan to fix the core. Jay looked at his sister. She nodded slightly. Yes, Jay said. We would like to see that. I'll come too, Yuna added quickly. Of course, Jin said. Tay and Sue will show you. I need to speak with Commander Min privately. Tay and Sue took them to another part of the ship. This room was filled with screens and people working at them. In the center was a small model of Earth. This is our science center, Sue explained. We've been studying Earth's core problem for years. Years? Dr. Han asked. How long have you been watching us? We never stopped watching Earth after our ancestors left, Tay said. We always hoped to return someday. Sue touched the small Earth model. This is what's happening inside your planet. The model opened to show the inside of Earth. Jay could see the core glowing red and orange. Parts of it were fading to black while others glowed too bright. The balance is breaking down, Sue explained. When too much of the core goes dark, the magnetic field will collapse. Without that protection, the sun's radiation will destroy what's left of the atmosphere. We know all this, Dr. Han said. What we don't know is how to fix it. Sue smiled. Watch. She touched the model again. Small dots appeared around it like the ships above Earth. Beams of light shot from the dots into the model. The dark parts of the core began to glow again. The two bright parts dimmed. Our ships can generate energy fields that will stabilize the core, Tay explained. We've done this on smaller planets before, but never on an inhabited planet this size, Sue added. That's why we need to move people. The process will cause disruptions on the surface. Earthquakes? Storms? Jay asked. Yes, Tay said, but only during the treatment. Once it's done, Earth will be stable again. Jay was amazed. These people really could save Earth. But something still bothered him. Why didn't you come sooner? He asked. You said you've been watching us for years. You must have seen the problem starting. Tay and Sue looked uncomfortable. It's complicated, Tay said finally. Our council had to debate whether to interfere. Some, like Commander Min, didn't want to help at all. Why not? Yuna asked sharply. They believed Earth humans should solve their own problems, Sue said. Or what? Dr. Han prompted. Or that if Earth became uninhabitable, we could simply take it for ourselves later and remake it. Tai finished. Min leads that faction. Yuna's face showed her anger. So they wanted to let us all die. Not all of us thought that way, Sue said quickly. Director Jin and many others fought to come help. That's why we're here now. Jay was trying to process all this when an alarm sounded. Different from the one before, this one was louder, more urgent. What's happening? Yuna asked, her hand going to her gun again. Tay touched the device behind his ear, listening. His face turned pale. It's Min, he said. He's taken control of the military section of the ship. He's locked Director Jin in his quarters. What does that mean? Jay asked. It means, Sue said, her voice shaking, that those who want to help, Earth humans, and those who don't are now in open conflict. A coup? Yuna asked. Yes, Tay confirmed. And if Min wins, your people will not be partners in saving Earth. They will be removed. We have to stop him, Sue said. But we need your help. Why would we help you? Yuna asked. This is your problem. Because, Tay said grimly, if Min takes control, he won't just build stations for your people during the core repair. He'll put them in stations forever, or worse. Jay looked at his sister and Dr. Han. The choice was clear. They needed to help Tay and Sue stop Min. It was the only way to ensure both Earth's humans and space humans had a future together. What do you need us to do? Jay asked. Tay's face showed relief. First, we need to free Director Jin. Then we need to send a message to all the ships. Everyone needs to know what Min is trying to do. And we need to do it now, Sue added. Min is already sending messages to the other ships. He's telling them to prepare for a more direct approach to the Earth situation. What does that mean? Dr. Han asked. Tay's answer was chilling. It means instead of asking Earth's people to cooperate, he plans to force them. Yuna stood straighter, her military training taking over. Then let's go. We have a planet to save, from both problems. Jay, Yuna, Dr. Han, Tay, and Sue moved quickly through the ship's hallways. They had to be careful. Min's soldiers were everywhere now. Jin's quarters are on the upper level, Tay whispered. We need to take the service tunnels to avoid Min's people. Tay led them to a small door hidden in the wall. Inside was a narrow tunnel with dim lights. These run through the whole ship, Sue explained. The cleaning robots use them. They crawled through the tunnels for what seemed like hours. Finally, Tay stopped and pointed up. Jin's quarters are right above us. Sue opened a panel in the ceiling of the tunnel. They climbed out into a storage room. The main door will be guarded, Tay said. But there's a second door through his private study. They moved silently through the storage room to another door. Tay placed his hand on a panel beside it. The door opened. Inside, Director Jin was sitting at a desk. He looked up in surprise when they entered. Tay, Sue, how did you get in? The service tunnels, Tay said. Director, Min has taken control of the military section. He's telling the other ships to prepare for a direct approach with Earth. Jin's face grew dark. I feared this might happen. Min never believed Earth humans deserved to be saved. What can we do? Jay asked. How do we stop him? Jin stood up. Min controls the military systems but not the communication network. Not yet. We need to send a message to all ships and all colonial citizens. They need to know what Min is doing. Won't Min just block the message? Yuna asked. Not if we use the emergency broadcast system, Jin said. It can't be blocked, but we need to reach the main control room. That won't be easy, Sue said. Min's people will be guarding it. We have to try, Jin said. If Min takes full control, he won't just help Earth, he'll conquer it. They left Jin's quarters the same way they came in. Back through the service, tunnels, they moved toward the center of the ship where the main control room was located. Wait, Sue said suddenly. She pointed to a screen on the tunnel wall. It showed Min addressing a group of colonial officers. Earth humans had their chance, Min was saying. They nearly destroyed their planet once. We cannot allow them to do it again. Our plan is simple. We will save Earth, but we will control it. The Earth humans will remain in the orbital stations permanently, or be relocated to other planets. Earth will be ours as it should be. Yuna's fists clenched. I knew it. He never planned to share Earth. Most colonials don't agree with him, Tay insisted. But Min controls the military now. If we don't stop him, he'll force his plan on everyone. They continued through the tunnels until they reached the access point near the main control room. There. We'll be guards, Jin warned. We need a distraction. Yuna smiled. Leave that to me. I'm good at distractions. She took a small device from her pocket. It's a signal jammer. We use them in military operations. It won't work for long against your technology, but it might give us a few minutes. Yuna set the device and slid it through a vent into the hallway outside the control room. Soon, alarms started blaring. Now, Jin said. They burst from the tunnel into the hallway. The guards were distracted by the alarms and the failing systems. Before they could react, Yuna and her officers had taken their weapons. Jin used his access code to open the control room door. Inside, colonial technicians looked up in surprise. Director Jin, one of them said. We thought you were confined to quarters. By whose authority? Jin asked loudly. Min has no right to take control. I am still director of the Colonial Council. Many of the technicians nodded. They were loyal to Jin. I need to send an emergency broadcast, Jin said. To all ships and all colonials. A technician moved away from the main console. Here, Director. The system is ready. Jin stepped up to the console, but before he could speak, the door burst open. Min stood there with several armed soldiers. Stop, Min shouted. Jin, you are relieved of duty. Guards, arrest them all. The soldiers raised their weapons, but they hesitated when they saw Yuna and her officers also had weapons pointed at them. Think carefully, Min, Jin said calmly. Do you really want to start a civil war among our people? Over what? The right to rule a planet that isn't even ours? Earth is our ancestral home, Min said. We have more right to it than they do. He pointed at Jay and the other Earth humans. They failed to protect it. That's not true, Jay said, stepping forward. We didn't cause the core problem, but even if we had, that doesn't give you the right to take our home. Your home is dying, Min said coldly. We're saving it. That makes it ours. No, Dr. Han said. Saving someone doesn't make you their owner. It makes you their friend. Min laughed. Friendship? We are superior to you in every way. Our technology, our genetics, our intelligence. Why should we treat you as equals? Because, Jay said simply, we're all human. Different paths, different histories, but the same origin. The same heart. Some of Min's soldiers looked uncertain now. They glanced at each other, then at the Earth humans. Tay saw his chance. Min doesn't care about saving Earth humans, he said loudly. He wants to remove them. Is that what we've become? The kind of conquerors our ancestors left Earth to escape? Enough! Min shouted. He raised his own weapon and pointed it at Jin. This ends now. Everything happened very fast. Min fired. Sue jumped in front of Jin. The beam hit her in the shoulder. She fell. Yuna and her officers fired at Min. Min's soldiers fired back. People were shouting and running. In the chaos, Jay saw the console was still active. He ran to it and pressed the broadcast button. People of the colonial fleet, he said into the microphone. This is Jay from Earth. Commander Min is trying to take control of your ships. He doesn't want to save Earth humans. He wants to remove us. Is that why you came all this way? To conquer instead of help? Min saw what Jay was doing and tried to reach him, but Tay and Jin blocked his way. We don't have to be enemies, Jay continued. Earth is big enough for all of us. We can learn from each other. Build something new together. Isn't that better than starting your new life on Earth with an act of conquest? Min broke free and lunged for Jay, but he never reached him. Min's own soldiers stopped him, grabbing his arms. Stand down, Commander, one of them said. We didn't come here to conquer. On screens around the room, they could see people on other ships watching the broadcast. Many were nodding in agreement with Jay's words. Min struggled against his soldiers. You're making a mistake. They'll ruin Earth again. We can't trust them. Perhaps, Jin said, helping Sue to her feet. Her wound wasn't serious. But we have to try. Otherwise, we're no better than the worst of the humans who left Earth long ago. 1 year later, Jay stood on a hill outside Seoul. The sky above him was blue, not the perfect blue of old Earth, but much better than the sickly yellow-green. It had been a year ago. The colonial ships still hung in the sky, but they were no longer frightening. For the past year, they had been sending energy into Earth's core, healing the planet bit by bit. Some Earth people had moved to the orbital stations during the worst of the repairs. But now most had returned. The earthquakes had stopped. The air was getting cleaner every day. Yuna walked up the hill to stand beside her brother. The last group from Station 3 is coming down today, she said. The Colonial Council says the core is stable now. And Min? Jay asked. Still under house arrest, Yuna said. But most of his supporters have accepted the new plan. The new plan was what everyone called the agreement between Earth humans and colonial humans. They would share the planet. Colonial technology would help clean up the environment and rebuild cities. Earth humans would help the colonials learn how to live on a planet again after centuries in space. It's not perfect, Yuna admitted. There are still problems to solve, trust to build. But we're working on it together, Jay said. That's what matters. Dr. Han joined them on the hill. With him was Sue. They had been working together for months now, sharing knowledge between Earth and colonial science. Look, Sue said, pointing. To the sky. A new ship was coming down, smaller than the others with a different design. The first one built together. Dr. Han said proudly. Colonial technology with Earth design. What's it for? Jay asked. Exploration, Sue said. There are still those aliens out there somewhere. The ones that chased the colonials from New Hope. We need to be ready. Will they find us here? Yuna asked, her military mind always thinking of defense. Maybe someday, Sue said. But by then, we won't be colonial humans and Earth humans anymore. We'll just be humans, stronger together than we ever were apart. Jay looked up at the blue sky and the ships that had once seemed so dangerous. Just a year ago, all hope had seemed lost for Earth. Now a new future was beginning, not just for the planet, but for all humanity. Earth had been saved. And in saving it, humans from two different paths had found each other again, healing an ancient separation. Whatever came next, they would face it together. The end.